Hey, so can we kill the calories? Can we kill the calorie counting? Welcome back to my channel, everybody. I'm your girl, Coach Carmelle. And if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, share it out to somebody who you think might benefit from hearing about the fact that we're not calorie counting anymore. We're not doing that anymore, okay? I'm on my way to 1,000 subscribers, and because of you, I'm getting there. So thank you for all of you who have subscribed and who tunes in to my rants and my raves. So and also to those of you brand new, welcome to my channel. So I want to talk about calorie counting. It's time. It's time for us to stop. um so I'm whole food plant-based. If you don't know, if you're new to my channel, then you're learning that I'm whole food plant-based vegan. So what does that mean? I generally don't eat packaged foods. If I do eat packaged foods, they're from the freezer section and they're whole foods. And what does that mean, Carmel? That means that I'm consuming veggies. I'm consuming fruit. I'm consuming whole grains, nuts, seeds, legumes, right? I'm consuming food that literally popped out of the earth in some way, shape, or form. And not necessarily ultra processed foods, foods that were created in a lab and manufactured for the consumption of the public, the foods that sit on shelves for weeks, months, years at a time and not go bad. They're dehydrated, they're full of salt, oil, and sugar, and our bodies don't recognize them as food because they're not. They're food-like substances that are manufactured in labs, right, by highly paid scientists. And I used to count calories. Don't get me wrong. I come from a place where all I did, I feel like my hat's crooked. And so it's, yeah, I think that's better now. Is that better, guys? Hey, for those of you who are listening, I'm talking about killing the calorie. I come from a place of counting calories. I used to make sure that the calories were low and the protein were high. Those are the only two things I generally cared about. I didn't care how much sugar was in my food. I didn't care how many ingredients. I didn't care. I literally did not care that I could not pronounce the substances and the chemicals that were in my food. All I cared about, I didn't care about the fat. I didn't care about sodium. I didn't care about anything. I did care about sodium, but very, very little. Again, the main thing I was ever concerned about was high calorie, low protein. I've really come to understand a lot more about nutrition in the past few years, where I'm like, why was I ever doing that? And not only that, going whole food plant-based does not allow me space to ever count calories. I can't. How do I count how many calories is in this maybe 1/4 cup of quinoa and then a half a cup of, let's say, bell peppers, and then some more in the kale, and then how about maybe another half a cup of the sweet potatoes that I made in the oven and threw some cinnamon on and added some herbs and spices to make sure that I had enough flavor and nutrition on my plate? That's a lot. That's a lot. I'll be sitting on my fitness pal. It's just a lot. It's a lot to calculate. Now, can it be done? Of course it can be done. And do I do it lately? I've been tracking my intake, but that's for me to know what nutrients I'm putting in my body and not necessarily how many grams of what. Listen, if we're eating from the rainbow and if our plate is diversified with all as many plants we can get on it, plants again, veggies and fruits, uh, leafy greens, right? Nuts and seeds, legumes, root vegetables. If we can get all of that on our plate, um, during the course of a day, during the course of a week, during the course of the month, there's no reason for me to count anything because I am getting everything that I need in my food. I really firmly believe in it. Not only that, we're still counting calories. If we're really doing that, we really should be counting chemicals. We're counting calories when we should be counting chemicals. So take a look at the package on the back of the foods that you've consumed and see how many chemicals are you consuming. That should be the biggest number on our labels. When you turn the food around and look at the nutrition and ingredient label, what do you see first? The first and foremost thing you always see, if you said it, calories. Listen, calories, the only thing calories are is if you put a food in a container and you boil the water around it and how long it takes for it to get consumed in fire or something like that, that's really what the measure of the calorie is how long it takes to be consumed in flames or in hot water or something like that. It literally is a unit of measure. In a lab, calories are not a real thing, right? Somebody figured something out and said, let's measure it this way. That's what a calorie is, folks. But nutrition is God-given from the earth. So think about that for a moment. It's time for us to kill the calorie. It's time for us to kill the calorie counting. It's time for us to stop counting calories and start counting chemicals. And it's really time for us to start adding more plants to our plate. And I'm not telling you to go vegan or plant-based. I'm telling you, add more plants to your plate. And my hope, honestly speaking, my hope is that you add so many plants to your plate that you crowd out any need for anything else, because we can get everything that we need from plants, right? Thanks for listening. I'll see you tomorrow. If you haven't already, subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.